Okay, let's looking up your RightTool settings in case you need to install RightTool in another computer, in another Chrome browser. Maybe you want to send to a friend or colleague all your RightTool settings. So when they load it, they can be experiencing RightTool on the exact same way that you are experiencing it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on that RightTool settings button with the wrench and the screwdriver. And then we're going to go into our RightTool settings. Here on the bottom left, there should be a help button. All the way bottom left, help button. You click on the help button. And then you're going to see these little buttons here that say export settings, export favorites, export scripts, export company switch. And you have to export each of them separately. We don't do all four in one shot to give you the flexibility so you can choose what you want to export and what you don't want to export. Let's start with export settings. And what that is any of these things that you have on or off. These are your settings, right? So if you wanted to export or save, you know exactly what you have turned on and turned off. So again, if you take that and you import it into another computer that has RightTool, or a friend or colleague's computer that has their own version of RightTool, or you're going to open or create a new Chrome profile or a different browser, whatever situation you might be in, and you want to copy the exact things that you have on or off in your settings, that's what that means. So you're going to click right there where it says export settings, and eventually you're going to see a pop-up with a bunch of, like, it looks like code. And essentially all you're going to do is you're going to copy that, and basically your settings are what you see in here. Is all this text is how RightTool recognizes what's on and what's off. So you're going to copy that, and then you're going to go into maybe send it via email to someone, or to a Word doc, or to Google Doc, whatever you have, like any word processor you have. You're going to say, just copy and paste that in there, Notepad, whatever. And then you can save that as your whatever RT settings. Let's just call it 627. 24. Okay. So just create a document, you save that, and then you can either send that document to someone, or you can just copy and paste this text into an email and then send it to whomever, or you yourself import it into whichever other computer or browser or Chrome profile that you might be using. Then to actually import the settings in the other computer, you're going to come into that Word document or that email with a notepad, whatever, and you're going to come in here. You're going to simply just paste that in there. And it feels kind of weird, but just paste it in there, and then click on import. And then once you click on import, all the settings apply. So whatever you had on or off now gets reset after we import those settings. Now you can also export your favorites. So what that is when you're under favorites, RightTool does start with sort of 10 default favorites, but as you create more favorites in the future, and you start adding more things to your favorites, or you start removing some of your favorites, or you start changing the order of your favorites, those are the very specific favorite settings. And if you want to save this and import it into another computer, to another profile, into another browser, that's what you want to do. You want to click on export favorites, and the same thing, you would hit copy here. You would paste that into a notepad, a Word document, or whatever to save that. And then to import it back in there, you do the same thing. You paste in here, and then you click on import, and that's going to import all your favorites, replace your favorites with whatever you are importing. Then you have export scripts. So really quick, if you have scripts turned on, that's a pro feature, by the way. And you have created a bunch of scripts here, and I have a whole nother video that explains how scripts work. Scripts are actually very advanced, very kind of complex. But if you have created scripts that work and you have them loaded in here, you can also export your scripts by clicking on export script, clicking copy, saving that into a notepad, Word file, Google Doc, whatever. And then we have export company switch. And what that is when you turn on company switch, you have the ability to switch back and forth your different company files. It's the same thing as this drop down menu. So you kind of don't need the company switch because you have a drop down menu where you can choose the companies. But if you have any of these companies that are like sort of your favorite that you usually go into, you can go into RightTool with a company switch, option, and you can add them, add the company, and essentially you create your own little favorite companies menu, and you can click on any of these and basically switch back and forth between companies. So again, if you have a list, going back here, if you have a list of companies that you have saved in your switch, you can click on export company switch, and it will save all of them for you. And then again, you would import them back in here. Click on import to apply that. So those are the four things you can export: your settings, your favorite, your scripts, your company switch. It doesn't save it into a separate file. You need to copy and paste that into its own file. You can save it in your computer, email it to someone, whatever. And then the importing process is just pasting the data back in there. If for whatever reason you don't like what you've done so far and you want to reset to how QuickBooks was, I mean, how RightTool was at the very beginning, you click right there to restore to favorites, and it sort of resets RightTool, back to where it was when you first downloaded RightTool. So it gets you back into all the settings. The only thing that it doesn't reset is the favorites. The favorites are, whatever they are, and then you would have to rebuild them if you want to rebuild them. But that reset button, just go back in here. That reset button is for the default setting. You can also turn off all the toggles, so that goes in there and goes into every single section and just turns everything off completely. And there's no like go back to where it was. You could always reset the defaults, and it will then again turn on all the things that are turned on by default. And then finally, if you have any feedback or questions or bug reports, click on the feedback button there in the top. It's going to take you to a Google Sheet feedback form, and then we read those, we work through those all the time. And if you're not part of the Right Tool community in Facebook, go into Facebook, even if you don't have a Facebook page. Might be worth it for you to get Facebook just for this. Go into Facebook, and you're going to go into our Facebook group. I'll put a link on that on the description as well. Into our Facebook group. Join that because we're always letting people know what are the new things that are coming out. We're getting reports from people on what's down, and we kind of help people troubleshoot through that. And then we also get like suggestions, like could you fix this? Could you add this? So you could be part of the development process as we make Right Tool better and we troubleshoot Right Tool and we make Right Tool the best tool ever. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you in the next